the echoes of a shattered soul.
In a forgotten corner of an unnamed city, where twilight clings to cobblestone streets and every echo whispers a long-held secret, there dwelled a man named Andrei. Not merely a shadow wandering through narrow alleys, Andrei was, in fact, a living testament to regret. His soul was a canvas painted with the dark hues of loss, guilt, and an unending yearning for absolution. As the autumn rain tapped gently on his window, he often recalled the night his life took a tragic, irrevocable turn.
Chapter 1. A Fateful Meeting.
It was on one particularly bleak evening that Andrei encountered an enigmatic stranger in a dimly lit cafe. The stranger's voice was soft yet urgent, and his eyes shone with a strange light, a light that seemed to see the hidden depths of Andrei's heart. "Do you seek redemption, Andrei?" the stranger asked. The question struck Andrei as though it were a distant bell tolling in the darkness. For years he had carried the weight of a deed so terrible that it had buried his innocence, and in that moment the stranger's words awakened a forgotten hope. A spark that dared to challenge the omnipresent gloom of despair. That night, under the flickering light of a solitary street lamp, Andrei began to share the story of his past. A tale of impulsive cruelty driven by desperation. He confessed to a crime that had shattered not only his life, but the lives of those around him. And as the confession poured out, the stranger's presence became both a comfort and a challenge to confront the monster within.
Chapter 2. The Labyrinth of Memory.
Over the following days, the city transformed in Andrei's mind. Each rain-slicked street became a corridor leading back to memories of sorrow and regret. As he roamed through deserted alleys, every sound, every murmur seemed to speak of his guilt. In his solitude, he began keeping a journal, a chronicle of confessions and reflections. His pen became a weapon against the silence, each sentence a step toward self-understanding. In the pages of his journal, Andrei described the faces of those he had wronged, expressions frozen in time echoing his own internal torment. Yet, in the act of writing, he also discovered a subtle beauty. The prose that emerged was unpolished, raw, and strikingly human, a tapestry of language that revealed both despair and a quiet longing for redemption. His words, like fragile glass, shimmered in the darkness, catching the light of his inner truth.
Chapter 3. The Carnival of Fears.
One cold, rain-soaked evening, Andrei's solitude was interrupted by a vivid, almost surreal dream. In his sleep, he found himself at the threshold of a grand carnival, where bizarre and shadowy figures paraded across a surreal stage. There was a jester with a broken smile, a forlorn woman cloaked in sorrow, and at the center a towering figure who was both terrifying and strangely tender, a personification of his own guilt. This carnival was not one of laughter and merriment, but a gathering of his innermost fears. Each character spoke in riddles, their voices interwoven in a polyphony of hope and despair. They questioned him, teased him, and finally offered him an ultimatum: to continue hiding in the darkness of regret, or to step forward into the light of acceptance. Awakening with a start, Andrei realized that this night vision was not a mere dream, but a message. a call to confront the intricate dance between guilt and redemption that had defined his life. And so, with trembling resolve, he vowed to embark on a journey into the labyrinth of his own mind.
Chapter 4. The Journey of Redemption.
Andrei's journey led him to places he had long avoided: abandoned churches, silent cemeteries, and even the ruins of his old neighborhood, where the ghosts of the past still whispered their laments. In each encounter he faced a mirror of his own soul. At one ruined chapel he met a beggar who spoke with a clarity that pierced through the veil of cynicism. "Every soul is both shattered and whole," the beggar intoned. "Only when you mend your own heart can you truly see the beauty hidden within the broken pieces." Inspired by these encounters, Andrei began to rebuild his identity. He sought forgiveness from those he had wronged, and slowly learned to forgive himself. The city, once a labyrinth of relentless shadows, started to reveal glimpses of warmth. A sunrise over a rain-drenched horizon, the gentle smile of a stranger on a crowded street, the soft murmur of hope in a whispered conversation.
Chapter 5. The Mirror of Humanity.
Time passed, and Andrei's internal transformation rippled outwards. He found that sharing his story, both written and spoken, opened a dialogue with others. A humble street preacher, a struggling artist, a lonely widower, each had their own darkness to bear. Andrei listened, and in doing so he began to see that the human soul is a mosaic of contradictions: cruelty and kindness, despair and hope, sin and forgiveness. One evening, in a small gathering at a worn-down community center, Andrei read an excerpt from his journal. His voice, wavering yet sincere, filled the room with the power of raw, unfinalized truth. His words resonated deeply with the listeners, who in turn began to share their own stories. The center became a microcosm of a new community, a family united not by perfection, but by the willingness to embrace and heal each other's wounds.
Chapter 6. Embracing the Light and the Dark.
The turning point came on a night when the rain finally ceased and the city bathed in an ethereal glow. Andrei found himself on a bridge, staring out at the rippling water, contemplating the delicate balance between light and dark. For years he had feared the darkness, associating it solely with guilt and despair. But now he understood that darkness was not an enemy to be vanquished. It was a necessary part of life, a canvas upon which the light could shine all the more brilliantly. In that moment of clarity, Andrei accepted that his past would always be a part of him, but it need not define him. By acknowledging the darkness, he freed himself to experience the full spectrum of human emotion. The deep sorrows, the fleeting joys, and everything in between.
The Quiet Dawn.
Years later, Andrei became a quiet mentor in the city, known not for his past transgressions, but for the wisdom he shared through his storytelling. In gentle conversations over cups of tea in sunlit cafes, he recounted his journey with a voice that was both humble and hopeful. His once shattered soul had been painstakingly reassembled into a mosaic of scars and triumphs, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. One crisp morning, as the first rays of the sun broke through the lingering mist, Andrei sat on a park bench watching the city awaken. A young man, eyes filled with uncertainty, approached him. "Sir," the youth asked, "how do you find the strength to forgive yourself. Andrei smiled gently. By accepting that we are all made of both light and dark, he replied, only when we embrace every part of who we are can we truly be free. As the scene faded into the golden light of dawn, Andrei's final words lingered like a benediction. In the interplay of shadows and light lies the endless, unfinalizable story of life. A story we must all write with our own hearts.